All right, everyone. We are here for the first Mythgard community tournament. I am your host and commentator, Brasiah, with my trusty partner, commentator, Noah.
Hi.
So, Noah, we have an interesting 8-man test tournament here that hopefully everything goes well with. We have some great first round one matches, and we are actually going to be checking out one of the more hype matches off this bracket. Rainzone versus AceMartinez. We as a small test team decided that we would be streaming this and that this would actually be best of 3. I know we were talking about best of 5s early throughout the week, but we talked with the players and we decided that while there is no alterations to the decks that people are playing, we think that best of 3 would still just be the best way to do it. So we are going to be starting shortly with Rainzone and AceMartinez. Rainzone is playing Stretcher. AceMartinez is playing a deck he calls Mono Yellow. Interesting to see how this pairs up. Interested to see how everything works out for these two players. What are you most excited about, Noah?
I'm actually excited to see Ace's choice of path. Ace is the only one using this path at the moment, this week. So I kind of want to see what it's going to do. Most people have chosen to skip past it, and I'm excited to see how it does.
Awesome. Now, we do have some interesting stats that we will be rattling off during this cast, during this tournament, that we think will be excellent feedback and data for the early meta of this game, the early start for everything with limited collections before, you know, we enter beta here. All right, we are currently waiting for the matches to begin. Once again, we are going to be watching Rainzone and AceMartinez. Let's jump right into it and get this going. AceMartinez is going to be going first here.
One thing we do want to note to you guys is that with the way spectating in this game functions, we will not know the contents of the hands as they play. We will only be casting based off of public knowledge. So we will not be able to speculate too much on potential plays, as we only have the info that both of them would have in-game.
Exactly.
The upside to this is that it has allowed us to not have a delay while we do this.
Everything is going to be off the cuff right away. Responses. Now, this is a question that I've been asked a little bit while streaming. Where do you pick for your first, your first minion to come down? I agree with this. I think the middle lane is just, it gives you the most versatility throughout the entire, first couple turns at least.
We need to adjust the music a little bit.
Is it a little bit too loud?
It needs to come down a little bit. As to minion placement in the opening, I think it actually depends some. I've been playing a lot of Valks myself, and with a minion that has Agile, I like putting it one to the side of the middle lane so that I can still move back in and choose to attack it should my opponent play one to the opposite side of the middle lane.
That Libre is going to be very big there. That is an incredible card. For its cost and just the natural stats it comes in with as a 3/4, having the ability to stun that first turn is very big. Now, we are kind of seeing an uncontested board here. Obviously, the Ignition's going to be able to wipe out one of the minions. Really excited to see what Rainzone does here.
I am too. Those of you in Twitch chat, if you look next to the game, you'll see a list of commands you can use in the chat to pull up a list to today's decks, today's placements. You can find an invite to join us in chat, and you can also look something up. If they play something and you don't quite know what it does, you can use its name with that command and be able to look things up in chat.
All right. This is pretty uncontested so far. Oh man. Let's see. What could Rainzone do here? He's got a hand full up. Burns the Valkyrie Enforcer. That is very good here.
Come down. Yeah, the ignition is good.
Yeah, the ignition. That minion, once it dies, also gains them life. That's a very good, strong tempo move for what they're trying to do. I mean, at the end of the day, Stretcher, you just kind of got to wait it out.
Okay, my apologies. We've been a bit busy today, but we have the decks added to the chat commands now. So you can pull up deck lists and see the full list of what people will be playing today.
Magmatar.
Big cow.
That's an absolute unit coming down. Oh, man. That is very, very good for Rainzone. Both of these players still having plenty of cards in hand.
So the axolotl goes back to the deck, which I think is fine. At this point, I don't think sticking an axolotl is going to affect too much.
Yeah, no, not really. I agree with that trade as well. Another Libre comes down.
And we do see the infuse to push the little bit of damage.
Now, mono yellow is an interesting choice. All of these minions are very, very strong.
Yes.
Extract life.
Yeah, yellow tends to have highly cost-efficient battle stats, which is something I like seeing.
Oh, man.
Wait, did they... Oh, no. Ace, did you see that? Ace infused the
wrong
minion that could not attack instead of the one next to it.
Yeah.
So that's going to cost them a point of damage.
Bolt from the blue. Yeah, that's not going to really be effective. That's a pretty solid burn right there. Oh man, this board is getting pretty beefy fairly quick.
Yeah, we've got the Godsbane down, which is quite a good defensive unit, and the Yahui should be able to help push quite a bit of damage in the middle.
Yeah, Yahui is an insane minion. Just being able to reduce all the damage down is very, very big. Being able to survive a bunch of blocks, being able to survive a bunch of different spells and effects.
Oh. That's a neat Magnus, actually, because it basically shuts off the Yahui's effect.
Yep.
In that the Yahui's going to take the 2 damage that will kill it.
Yep.
So we may see, this is going to be the infuse to push past the Magnus. And we still put a little bit of damage on.
Now, depending on how these next couple turns go, you know, Rainzone could be in a bad place, but with Stretcher, the deck just gets better as time goes on. So, pretty interested to see how it works out.
Ace is also one of the few people not using Smite today. Smite tends to be the go-to pick of the day. Ignition's going to take out the Yahui. Smite to face.
Oh, that stretcher's just rocking away.
Oh,
boy, that's a big right side. We're gonna need some board clear or something over there.
So we do see the infuse. I suppose if they have nothing else to play that they would use that mana with, the infuse is okay. It doesn't change anything.
Yeah.
But potentially infusing then could have cost them the ability to play something.
Exactly. But right now, I think it's just trying to whittle away the life that Rainzone does have. Ha! The Cataclysm.
Cataclysm is going to wipe the field.
Oh, man.
And this is a situation that Ace's choice not to use Smite might actually become something they have to think about.
Yeah.
Because with the opponent on 8 life, Smite helps push damage and end games. I tend to use it the most of them as well because it closes out a game. So now we see Ace in a position that they may not be able to close out without that Smite.
Yeah. Valk Enforcers
going back to hand.
Yep. Draw 3 cards is very, very good right here. While it does have a hefty mana cost, of course, but that's a risk with the stretcher going off as well.
Oh, that is also a good unit.
That is a very, very good unit. Eerie
He's
Healing.
stunned at the moment, though.
Restore 3, draw a card. Smite. Bolt from the blue.
So we see the bolt. How do you feel about things like that? This 2/2 is not going to be able to attack yet. Do you often set up an attack that you can't make yet with bolt damage just to dig?
Now in this game, I definitely do. It makes them think a little bit more about their plays. While obviously you could always swing in, or you could play the unit and kind of wait for your opponent to swing in and bring it to 1, and then obviously you know, destroy their creature without making them kind of think about it. I feel like in that situation where you need to draw the card and it doesn't really matter regardless, I think it's a strong move. Now that unit coming down is very, very big as well.
Yeah, Ace's minion has just gained them some life, which may help swing this game as both life totals have become close now, and Ace does not have Smite.
Yeah. Honestly, it's just kind of lasting. While Rainzone has managed to grab a bunch of cards that, oh.
That's good.
That is really good. Ear Healing again. Gain 3.
They may just heal to a point that...
It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, they may just be able to heal out of any potential lethals.
Yeah. Right now, we're already on a 1-turn clock as long as that unit remains unblocked. But if that minion can just work its way through, obviously, depending on what Rainzone has in hand, this...
Yeah, we don't know what else is in hand, but they need to get a unit... they need a minion blocking both of the opponent's minions at the moment, because if not, Smite damage gives lethal. So that's a good choice.
Yeah. Especially with the buffs.
Now, Ace only has one unknown thing in hand, so in a situation like this, when you know most of what the opponent has, you have a bit of an advantage in the plays you can make, because you have the most concealed info.
Yeah.
You know what it's going to take to beat them, but they may not know what it's going to take.
And there it is with the stretcher.
And that is the lethal. Good plays. That is going to be 1-0.
1-0 Rainzone. And give us one moment while we update everything.
So now we'll see both deck lists pulled up. You guys can see who's playing what yet again. We'll do this between games.
All right, and I am back as well. Now we are going to be starting the second game momentarily. Waiting for them to challenge each other. Now, that game was surprising to me. Personally, from the start, I thought it was going to be a little bit more in Ace's favor.
So Ace has played down an 0-2.
They have already started. We are here now.
How do you feel about this 0-2 that Ace has played? I like the idea of it in that you play a less than impactful unit, a minion, that's going to also lose you life when you play it, but you bank on the payoff of gaining the life when it dies and its demise goes off.
Yeah.
I think it's a neat idea. I wish it was a 1-2 because I don't like playing non-combative units. Minions, excuse me.
Yeah, you know, I feel like there's only a limited amount of things that could disrupt what it's meant to do. You know, there's only a certain amount of you know, suppression that can actually affect the minion. I just don't see in a way where either as a blocker it's not really beneficial. Obviously, you know, Rainzone playing that minion down, it's there for a purpose. It's there to prolong the game. That's what this deck does. Now, spreading out those minions on Ace's field is very, very good for Ace. Chooses to move over to the left.
We do see the movement enticing Ace to saying, "Come take this minion and give me this life."
Yeah. Oh man.
And we see a Calliope Muse come down. The divination off of that.
Now, personally, I think divination is an insane mechanic.
I am a fan.
Yeah. That minion has tons of value. Just entering the battlefield. 3/3. Reveal the top 3. Well, look at the top 3. Choose which one stays. It's absolutely bonkers to me. Oh, the Libre coming down.
Oh, that's a good.
That's
a good stun.
Yeah, that is very, very good.
And we see Ace choosing not to take the 0-2 and saying, "I'm going to make you keep chasing me,"
Yeah.
which has just happened. Ace not wanting to give the opponent that much life just yet.
Yeah.
Which I actually don't know about. I think gaining life while you have a high life total tends to be slightly less efficient than gaining life while you have a low total does. I think in that position, I would have gone ahead and taken the minion at that point.
Yeah, I would also agree. This early on in the game, obviously, you know, it's not come down to the wire yet. You can still whittle away, but it would add up. Now, we saw the big plays over there eliminating the Libre as a threat. All right. That would clear the path for his minion to move over. Burns the Striking Viper.
And the Infuse will allow the Commando to punch in and kill the Calliope Muse. Ooh, the Golden Axolotl coming down.
Oh, man.
This is
a flagship character.
Kind of an odd play. I don't know if I like playing Golden Axolotl onto just as a 2-1 without having something to also buff it immediately, because I don't want my opponent to bolt it. Now, the bolt didn't come down this time.
Yeah.
But I typically don't like playing the Axolotl just as a 2-1 when my opponent has the potential to bolt it.
Yeah, for sure. And that Feast was real big there. That card is also in my list of, oh my gosh, this is insane. This card is way too good.
As you'll see in just a little bit, Feast is actually quite high up on the most commonly played uncommons of the day.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, this is big.
Magmatar coming down, eliminating 3 minions with ease, setting up Rainzone for pretty much an uncontested right side.
Possibly. We know Ace's deck plays a lot of high-statted minions.
Yeah.
And they will be going on to 6 mana now. So we could begin seeing some of these big game-ending type stats.
Yeah. Yes.
But instead, we don't.
Well, honestly, I mean, the buffs to the field is just as good. Turns the 2/2 into a 4/4. Alpha Strike. It's Long Winter.
Yeah,
okay.
The double Alama buff helps a lot. It's almost like it makes each minion as effective as a second minion.
Mm-hmm. Divination 3 once more. Infused to make it a 5/5.
I actually don't know how well I like that. It'll depend on these attacks. I think they had a potentially optimal line that involved infusing. Yeah, if you infuse the commando instead, because the snake was going to kill the Calliope Muse and not take damage back.
Mm-hmm.
Infusing the commando instead would keep it as a 2 health minion now, as opposed to just 1.
Yes, definitely.
And
Cataclysm.
Ultimately, it's a moot point, but
Cataclysm.
the Cataclysm comes down, and the field is empty yet again.
Yahui, come again. 4/5 reduces damage down to 2. Mono yellow. Real trooper here. Extract Life said your effect doesn't matter.
Yeah, think again.
Oh man.
And now we begin to see the effects of the advantage that Feast has given them a while back. As the hand advantage at this point should begin to pile up. I don't have Ace's list pulled up, but I don't think they have much in the way of gaining any kind of hand advantage back at this point.
They do have that. Give me one moment.
I know the 5-cost one is a thing. I just don't know if they play it. I don't have the list pulled up.
They do. They played it last game. They definitely do have that. While the card is very, very good, I don't know if that's a card you really want to play against Stretcher. Obviously, you want to play it because it gives you the card advantage, right?
I think if you play it, you want to play it now while that is not out and taking effect.
Yeah, for sure. Abyssal coming down. Harvester.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, see, this is what this mono yellow deck does do well, is it plays massive units in the mid game. These minions have so many combined stats to them. They tend to go high enough that most decks can't compete with it in combat.
Now the Harvester is just going to be putting Rainzone on a 2-turn clock. There's Ace is still at 14, but right now, if I was Rainzone, I'd be definitely trying to stop all of the harvesters from coming down. Magnus into Ice Spike. Into a second Ice Spike.
Can we talk about how awesome that animation is as we see
Oh, yeah.
Ace's
Beautiful.
life be sapped by this effect?
Beautiful. Forge Elemental coming down. Comes in as a 6/6.
It is coming in as a 6/6, but again, all of these coming in stunned slows down
Yes.
Ace's game plan quite a bit.
For sure. Definitely does. Ace still at 12. Having tons of field advantage as far as the buffs go. And his undoubtedly big creatures. Another Cataclysm.
Oh,
wiping
man.
the field. Dealing 6 damage.
Ace goes
Bringing
to
Ace
2.
to 2.
Ace has to gain life now to not die to the smite.
Yes. Which would be very interesting to see if that can happen. Libre.
It looks like we
like
just
it
have the
cannot.
concession.
Yeah, looks like Ace cannot gain the life.
So in this situation, do you smite to win the game? Do you just pass and let the 1 damage into the game? And we see Ace chooses to Ace loses to the pass. I think I would have done the same.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Well, Rainzone has taken this 2-0. We will be right back momentarily as we jump into a new match. One moment. All right, we are back. We have managed to catch Tunestar versus Crazykirby in their matches. Let's see.
And this is 1-1 at the moment.
1-1. All right.
This is 1-1. Both of them have taken a game, and this is the final game. We see Tune down on life, although this life tap is going to help.
Yes, for
we
sure.
do see a good bit of hand advantage, and Magnus is going to chip away at that field and hopefully stop some of the damage coming back. And then we see the Magnus die, and this is going to be a close game, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Dune Courser. Parry at the gates. 3/5 unit. 5/3 unit. Rather. Pretty solid trade there. That minion dealing 3 damage to anyone when it goes to your boneyard or feast.
Yeah, we see feast again.
Pretty valuable.
Yeah, you'll be seeing a lot of that tonight, I believe.
We will be going over some stats in between this round and the next round. Double Ice Spike. Dune Courser. Ignition.
And the Ignition comes down. This is
very, very good plays.
This is a close game.
Tunestar.
Oh. But now we see an 8/8.
One absolute unit, Tailroot Worm. Divination 3.
We see a 7/7 hit the field.
We will have to disable the Mythgard overlay. That is something me and Noah did not think about. Is that while even spectating, Noah, I guess people on Twitch can see their opponent's hand.
I did not think that was going to be an issue.
We did not think that that was going to be an issue. That is fantastic feedback. We will make sure that in between this next round, we will have that resolved. Tunestar is saying they cannot see the hand.
I can see some of it. It looks kind of...
It's probably half off due to...
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is something we will mention to the devs. We spoke with them about that ahead of time and said, hey, do we think this is going to be an issue? And they didn't think it would, but it looks like it is. So we will be disabling that between these next matches.
I've gone ahead and disabled it already.
Okay, it has been disabled. That's good. So what do you think about Tune's choice just now? This was kind of a neat play with this.
The Magnetar?
Yeah, because playing it one lane
over
to what's the left to us, Tune would have been able to also deal damage to that 7/7. But by choosing to give up the damage on the 7/7, they've given the block on the 8/2, so that the 8/2 has to basically die out now. Had they chosen to play it one lane to the side, the 7/7 could have attacked, and then the 8/2 hit phase.
Oh man, the Earth Slide coming out, one of my favorite spells in this entire game. Creating all of the rock people. Now, looking at Tune's list, I'm not really sure where the comeback would be from this one.
Yeah, Tune's list has a lot of ways to kill a single minion at a time, but they don't have much in the way of sweeping out an established field.
Yeah.
Not quite enough, at least, to deal with something like this.
And there we get the well played.
And that is the
classy
game.
Crimson Pact.
So that is 2-1. Tune has been eliminated this week.
Let's see who else we got. That is the end of round 1. Our winners, Crazykirby, Rainzone, EndoZoa, and Tony. Let's go over to the stats side of everything and talk about some of these numbers that Noah has managed to rally together. Where do you want to start, Noah? I think we should start in the most popular commons. Go ahead and, tell us your opinion on these commons and what do you think these numbers mean? I mean, you're a stats guy. You live and breathe numbers, as anybody could tell in the Discord earlier today. Well,
I do enjoy stats. So, I think this shows a couple of things. One, obviously, it shows that people like Bolt. But mostly, this is kind of what I was expecting to see with the commons. Typically, with a common, it's what you play the most copies of, and that will need to be the ways that you can help deal with a field. We tend to see less valuable minions as commons than we do as these quick pseudo kill spells with these damage-based kill spells that we see. It definitely does show that people like blue.
For sure.
I did not expect to see as much of a gap between the 1 and the 2 slot in these commons. And it is the biggest gap of any, like the uncommons and such don't have as big of a gap between the 1 and 2 slot. But it looks like Bolt is definitely the big pick today going into this week 1 of the community weeklies.
Yeah. Now, we do have some more stats as well due to Noah being a stats god, as we've already discussed. We do have the most popular uncommons this week as well: Crimson Pact, Muse, and Feast. Now, tell us a little bit more about these, Noah. I know you said that there were some interesting numbers with the uncommons this week.
Yeah, so we do see the fact that all of these have actually come in with the same amount of play. We see Pact, we see Calliope Muse, and we see the Feast. And it was neat to me to see that we have 8 people playing, and amongst all of the uncommons that got played, we managed to get the same amount on the most commonly played ones. And what I liked most about that is it's not an amount that is a multiple of the max amount of uncommons you can play. It's not like we see 12, so we know that half the field played the full amount they could. So we actually see people choosing to play slightly less than maximum on each of these and still see them balancing out like this. It was just kind of a neat thing to see in the stats themselves. But I don't think any of that speaks to just how good each of these uncommons is and why they see play. You mentioned Calliope Muse and its divination, and we had quite a bit of discussion about Feast in chat. Pact is the one that we didn't talk too much about yet, but as we saw in, I believe, both of the matches we've watched up to now, Pact has been played and been impactful. It essentially says, take one attack to the face by this minion to kill it. And that's so effective at, yeah, you'll lose a little bit of life. In Tune's case, in the last game, it actually lost him the game because he was using it to concede. But just being able to say, fine, you can hit me once, but then it's going away, lets you keep the field clean and hopefully stick a minion that can contest and put damage back to make up what you lose to the Pact.
Exactly. Now, we do have our round 2 pairings up. Our next feature match is going to be Team Rankstar's own EndoZoa versus Tony, the inferior artist, as you may know him on Discord. This should be interesting. We have a Dire mid-range versus Wee Brokio. Tony's take on green blue.
One thing to note is, because this is a single elimination test event, this is effectively the semifinals of this event, and we will be showing both semifinals matchups. So the second matchup will not be played simultaneously. When this one is finished, we will switch to and commentate the second semifinal match. And as we've seen pointed out in chat, yes, I do not have all of the stuff in all of these lists. So you will notice what I do and don't have in these as I made these today. Hopefully next week when we have lists, it will all be shown as if they all owned them. So we won't have this kind of inconsistency in the list. But this week you get to make fun of my measly collection.
Yes, this is obviously the first run of the test event. We are excited to grow with this game, excited to grow with this community, and obviously as the weeks go on to get better and better along with your collections. Now we are in a weird place, obviously, with the incoming wipe, but we are still going to have fun in alpha. Now let's go ahead and get into this. Waiting for them to start their match so we can go ahead and get in.
And we have a comment in chat. Smite is definitely the most used this week. I don't have the stats on me at the moment on that specifically. I should have. That's my bad that I don't. My apologies. But it looks like we have 5 people playing Smite this week.
All right, we do have them in game. We are going to be watching from Endo's perspective. And let's jump into it. EndoZoa, Tony. I guess it randomly shuffles you to a player. Tony's perspective, rather. Burning the obvious Volcanic Rush. Now that is probably one of my favorite things about this game. Is the burn mechanic. You know, a lot of games could have gone with a regular mana base where you have them in your deck or where you naturally gain it, but I think the fact that you get to essentially drain a card's color and then shuffle it back in makes this a lot more versatile, if you will. Hyperborean.
One note, we should update the tied 1-1. This is game 1 of this match.
Lore Broker coming down. Now, Endo has been playing, you know, dire mid-range for a while, at least over this last week. Every time I've seen him on ladder, it's been mostly in his favor. But this is a deck that Endo knows very, very well. And I'm excited to see how it plays out.
Endo's list is actually almost identical to Toon's list. We ended up with 2 people playing lists that had quite a lot in common.
Burn. Divination 3.
Calliope Muse comes down again. This is so valuable. Just always being able to choose what to top deck. In games with an actual dedicated mana system, we see effects like this become big because they can help you. If you have too much mana, you can put one away. And if you need mana, you can get one. But with anything in the deck becoming mana, this divination becomes about what helps you the most at this time, independent of if you need to use it as mana. And I like that a lot.
Yeah, for sure. It honestly, you know, for a game in alpha, this Mythgard just has so many obvious differences that I feel like it's going to really shine with some polish. Now, Muse is, like you were discussing earlier, one of the most played uncommons right now. Do you feel like that is just because the, you know, red is an easier color to access right now with without needing such a big collection of mythics to kind of make it go? Or do you just think that, you know, Muse is just that good of a card?
I think it's a combination of the two. We do see that it had all of the most played uncommons and most of the commons, and as that goes on, you'll see that we go down as the cost of things goes up. So I think it definitely helps that it's somewhat cheap to build in, but I think it's also a case of it's got awesome stat efficiency with an impactful awaken ability. So it's doing something as soon as it hits the field.
Yeah, for sure.
And that helps a lot.
Now that's a pretty unique card. Some spicy card art. Born Again. Feast from EndoZoa. I think Feast really makes the mid-range deck super powerful.
Yeah, Feast is definitely the gas of this deck that helps keep them in the game.
No, for sure. Just allows for such a great filler in most cases. Trade there. Iron Flesh coming down. Now, Hopeless coming down. That card, so good.
And as we can see, when that should die, we will see a 6/8 hit in its place.
That is correct. Second Feast from Endo.
Endo definitely wanting to find something like an Ice Spike.
Yeah. Something to be ready.
Actually, maybe I don't know that I would use an Ice Spike in this situation.
Yeah, no, I would.
Yeah, no. My initial thought was get the minion out of the way, but then it dawned on me again just what exactly this minion does, and maybe you don't want to get it out of the way quite yet.
Yeah. Healing. Game 3 draw a card.
We do see the Detain.
One of my favorite card arts in the game currently.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic, isn't it? I vote we keep it.
Placeholder, nah. Main art. Burned Muse coming down. Kind of forcing Endo to take his unit. This minion is pretty much begging for its sweet release.
Yeah, at this point, it's please kill me. I want to go. And when I do, I will punish you with a 6/8.
Yes, for everyone that is just joining us, this lovely voice belongs to Bersiah. And Noah.
That one's me.
Is here as well.
We see EndoZoa yet again getting this Calliope Muse out of the way. not wanting Tony to just slap the minion into it. Because that's something else. It's not like Endo can just leave the Calliope Muse.
Mm-hmm.
They have to move it so that Tony cannot just attack into the Calliope Muse.
Yeah. It has nothing to do with the Calliope Muse kind of just wanting to stay alive. It's rather he wants Tony's unit and Tony's minion to stay alive as well. There's no real easy way to kind of close the gap here. It's still just
Tony's
chasing
going
the Muse. Yeah,
he's gonna give chase again. Eventually, the Muse will be caught. And we do see the 6/6 fall. Tony goes to 7. Tony has spent enough time chasing this Calliope Muse that I don't know they'll be able to establish anything on the left side to stop the bleeding and not lose this game.
Shatterfist coming down.
I may be mistaken.
That could be very interesting depending on what Endo has in hand.
So we see the bolt.
Oh. The
and the ice spike.
Okay. Allowing for
6/6
lethal.
and the smite lethal. So Endo found a way to get to lethal without the Calliope Muse doing his opponent's bidding and letting them play that big minion.
Yes. All right, we are going to wait for them to start their next match. Now, Endo currently leads 1-0. Let's go ahead and get that updated. All right, and we are ready for them to start their game. So, Noah, how do you feel about these games so far that we've seen while we jump into this one? Are you surprised by anything that we've seen based off of the list, based off of the numbers? Or do you feel that this is kind of going the way that it's been intended?
I feel this is mostly what I expected. I didn't quite think we'd get such a long game of tag last game, but I was glad to see it happen.
Yes. Definitely. Iron Flesh coming down. Now, while it does have 2-1, it does have armor, which I would say makes it a pretty good unit. I've made the mistake of not realizing it has armor, as is your favorite clip on Twitch, and Bolt from the Blue. Bolting that, and yeah, against Tunestar, actually. And quickly realizing my mistake, as it did absolutely nothing.
All it did was make me mad, because that was a 2v2 game, and I was teamed with you.
Oh, man. That is one thing that I'm very excited about for this game, is when we finally get 2v2 matchmaking when you can choose your partner. That will be very, very sweet.
So, okay, we do see the bolt.
Now,
I was just thinking, do we see Endo go ahead and take this now, while they have a big enough hand that they most likely have an out to the 9/7? They could banish it. Like, banishing the beast gets it out of the way. But in that case, they didn't need to bolt. I suppose if you want to cycle, you could, but they could have just attacked. So I want to see if we see Endo play this game of tag again and give chase. They will not be at this point.
They will not. There is speculation in the chat that they were digging, trying to find a way to shut off that unit or shut off the beast. Here we're going to see the big swap, the 9-7 coming in. Pretty much setting up for a dominant next turn against Endo. Born Again coming down. Magmatar burn.
I've had to step away. I'll be one moment.
You're all good, Noah. Thank you so much for letting me know. Iron Flesh Performer coming down on the right side. This game, even though it is tied right now, 25-25, it does seem like Tony is in a more dominant position depending on what is in Endo's hand. Both from the blue burn. (4/4) agile. Once per turn, divination 2. The 6-6 coming down will trade with the 9-7. Now currently a 9-5. Now we're going to see the 4/4 eliminate the Iron Flesh Performer. Ice Spike. Even trade in, dealing some extra damage to Endo. Burn the other beast. Led Astray. Allowing for some easy damage here. Putting Endo to 4. 2-turn clock. No worries to ready. Lore Broker coming down.
Okay, and I am back. So, looks like while I've been away, Tony has taken a good lead in this game.
Yes, a very good lead. Detained.
Now, initially the plan had been to show both semifinal matches in full.
Mm-hmm.
Should Tony win this game, we'll go ahead and begin the second semifinal match because we do have some issues with time. No. So should this game end with Tony's win, like it's looking at May, we will begin the second semifinal match, and at the conclusion of this match, we'll jump into that one and finish casting that, and then take you into finals.
There you go. We also will be fiddling around with this at the request of some viewers. Without the overlay on, it is fairly hard for people that are newer to the game to kind of keep track of all the cards. So, you know, I will do my best to quickly hover over everything and move it back. Eerie healing, restoring 3 health. Drawing a card. A second eerie healing. Born again coming back. Oh ho. The hand is revealed. We have a beast, a Gamma, a Wind Fury, and a Born Again. Bolt puts Smite, puts Endo at 2.
So, quickly, while we wait on this game to finish up, what do you think of Gamma Yun? I think this
Absolute
is a
unit.
fantastic minion.
Oh, yeah, absolute minion. This is... I've lost enough games to it.
The value of the Divination 2 at no cost is just so much.
Yep. Crimson Pact has to get taken out. We see an obviously very wide board. You know, great unit placement from Endo.
So Tony choosing not to play a minion basically says, I'm going to make Endo have 9 damage.
Yep.
And we
boy.
cannot see it, sadly.
You have
It was close,
bested me.
but it is going to be 1-1. So Tony and EndoZoa tied, and we will go ahead and begin the second semifinals match
as well.
And when this one is finished, we will switch to that and pick up the casting mid-match on that. How do you think Tony would have felt had they chosen not to just play a minion all the way on the left to eat up some damage off the 6/8, and then Endo somehow found a way to pull lethal? That would feel awful.
Yeah,
I think if I was in Tony's position, I would not feel that I misplayed, because I don't think Tony misplayed by not playing anything.
Yeah.
But the feels bad moment of actually having 9 concealed damage, I guess 7 because smite, hitting you. Oh man,
I've played enough card games to know what a similar situation feels like. Needless to say, as everybody can assume, it does not feel good. I'm happy that did not happen to a fellow Tony. We would all feel it. All the Tonys in the universe would feel that pain. Thunderclap getting burned. 2 mana open, uses it for smite.
so we see the smite fight begin. And we do see a 6/8 loaded up. So if this game of chase happens yet again, we'll be in a situation much like we saw game 1.
Yep. Oh, don't worry, already. We are working on it. We have an Iron Flesh Performer down. Armor 1. It's a 2/1. And obviously the Muse. Awakened Divination 3. Led Astray shuffles the minion back into the deck. How do you feel about that?
I'm a big fan of any ways to kill minions that don't actually kill them.
Yep.
Putting it back in the deck is the most effective. Like putting it in hand, they can cast it again.
Yeah.
But putting it back in the deck, ooh, nice play we see out of Endo. Needing to cycle, so choosing to use the bolt. Well, it will not affect his own unit. It didn't actually put in damage to kill it. And Endo gets to cycle and still put damage on without Tony having played a minion.
Yep.
And we do see the shuffle again.
An absolute minion coming down. Duskwing Angel. Agile Fragile. 1 and life tap after killing a minion in combat. Fully heals for 4. Ice Spike. Killing it. Forked Lightning.
And we see the lightning come down. Oh, man.
Was that too quick of a play? Did not realize the fragile 1?
Yeah, they played fast enough that they didn't get to stop the cast of the lightning.
Now that is...
that could be big.
That is one of the more delicate things when you play with all of these different paths. Especially the Turn of Seasons and giving the minions fragile is something I also often forget to look at, just because unless you're hovering over it, it does happen fairly quick, the changes. Hopeless coming down again. He's going to try to intercept the 6/8 overrun piercing Slayer 1. The Pact eliminating it, and
Pact, yeah, that was a big pact, because now they will not get a minion back off of it, and EndoZoa can just keep the foot on the gas.
Yeah, we got
Tony. Man, Tony needs to block the 6/8.
Yeah, we got 2 packs back to back, eliminating the 2/3, not allowing it to return anything. A detain coming down. A detain that could turn into deported. Born again. Tony throwing up the well played.
Yeah, that's going to be the game. Tony not having much of a way to win, only ways to not die. And at that point, it's best to just go ahead and concede. And
yeah.
I think they actually did have lethal, because the 6/8 would put in the damage on the blocking minion anyway. So that looks like definitely a decisive win that game. EndoZoa taking the match 2-1.
And then we are going
EndoZoa will be in the finals.
EndoZoa is going to be in the finals. We have Crazykirby versus Rainzone. Coming into a pretty dominant board state. We know Rainzone does have some ways to eliminate, you know, the board. Magnus coming down. Just as I said, definitely having some ways to eliminate some lower, you know, statted units. These minions coming down fairly quickly.
And we will find out the game count in just a moment and keep you updated so we know who's up, if anyone yet, in this match.
And no, we do not get to see the players' hands. Spectate does not allow for that.
Yeah, spectating will only show us public knowledge. So we will be playing with we'll be casting with the same info that the folks playing have.
Essentially. Stretcher is already active on Rainzone. Gale coming down, overrun stunned. +2 after it attacks. Breach and power with Alpha Strike. Feast coming down from Rainzone.
And again, we see a feast.
to be completely honest, even at this point, this could still go either way, in my opinion. This is a very close game. Definitely two of the top players in Alpha right now kind of battling it out.
So we have just been told this is game 1. Nobody has taken a game win yet. So this is still game 1 of this semifinals match.
Good clear from Crazykirby. Now, depending on what Rainzone has, this could...
Yeah, we could still see a top deck into lethal.
Yeah, we could see a Cataclysm come out. There's a whole lot of things that we could see.
Cataclysm is lethal 2 ways at the moment as well.
Yep.
Because you can attack with the Magnus and then Cataclysm to win. But you could also just Cataclysm and then Smite.
Ah!
And we do see the Cataclysm lethal.
And Rainzone has taken game 1 here.
So, how do you feel? Now, we didn't get to see that whole game, but how do you feel about this matchup?
About this matchup?
Yes.
Honestly, seeing Stretcher in action, it definitely is a very impactful deck. I'm a big fan. I'm really enjoying it. Now, we could see some crazy stuff from Crazykirby, but as it stands right now after watching that, it's kind of who has the best, most optimal plays type thing in my straight up opinion.
So you think this one's kind of split down the middle,
Yeah.
and it's kind of a skill-based toss-up.
Yep. That's what I would say. I'd say it's pretty 50-50.
We see Cataclysm go back to the deck, not going to need that yet, and the Bolt comes down to go ahead and kill out the 2-1. Hideout comes down.
Earth Slide going back.
Sandscape coming down, just looking to fill this field up with enchantments.
Rasa Recruit.
Bolt going back, choosing not to bolt the 1-1. Calliope Muse, okay. Yeah, I don't think bolting the 1-1 is quite good enough if you have absolutely anything else you can do at this point.
Exactly.
So I think the Calliope Muse was definitely the way to go. Ooh, we do see the Bolt being able to take out the Calliope Muse now. That's nice. The 1 damage going in.
Yeah, the Marty Core. Definitely a very strong minion. You know, coming down as a 4/4.
I think this oil field is also going to be quite effective at the moment. We still see a full hand, meaning lots and lots of minions that could come down when you need to pay less to play each one.
Yeah.
Like this one. Yeah,
Tail
that's...
rootworm is going to be a big boy.
That's a big boy.
Yeah. Howling Abyssal. Ice Spike going back.
And we see a lot of stunned minions at the moment. So, although we do see a big field, we won't see much going in the way of damage on this attack. How do you feel about the usage of Mend? This is the only list to be playing Mend this week, with, again, 5 people on Smite.
Yeah, you know,
and...
I feel like Mend definitely works for Crazykirby.
Yeah.
It's going to give them the longevity that they need to kind of go through and power through all this stuff. The idea being, anytime you have 2 extra, mana, it doesn't really matter whether or not your minions are damaged. Still heals you for 1. It's still valuable.
Healing 1 is nice, but when you just take 6 off a Cataclysm, maybe it's not quite effective enough. We do see the Solomon's Gale come down. And looking to just establish that field again.
Insurgent. Eager recruit. The long winter punishing Crazykirby right now.
Solomon's Gale going back to the hand.
It's going to be
now, this is actually
as well. This is a really good setup.
This is a good bounce because not only do we see the Solomon's Gale go back to the hand, meaning you'll have to cast it again, but we also now see that the minions in hand do not cost 1 less until that lane is occupied again. So you not only have made them cast the high-cost minion again, but they can't begin to flood out those mid-cost minions that have become low-cost.
Yeah, exactly. And on top of that, it's going to remain stunned again.
We do see the oil field filled back up again, and a minion coming down off of the fact that it has had its cost come down.
Yeah.
So, while it definitely stunted the play some, I don't think...
Oh.
Well,
Magus
and then
coming down.
Happens.
Real hot. Ready for some fighting right there. Wiping the board. Bolt.
Now, how do you feel about playing the Magnus in a lane it would be stunned in, as opposed to playing it in the lane it would not be stunned in, when you have the life advantage at the moment anyway?
I don't think the stun really matters. I think it's more so the fact that you're trying to eliminate the opposing minion. So obviously with Mend, it's kind of irrelevant right now unless Rainzone has a way to make that 4-5 a 4-4. But I do feel like that was pretty optimal.
Yeah, and also playing in that lane would not mean that you would absolutely get the damage in, as we saw they had enough of a hand still to go ahead and play a minion in the opposing lane with that Dune Cat.
Yeah.
So it's not like you would have known you'd push the damage in, but I kind of feel like maybe pushing the damage while you have the lead may be the play.
Yeah, for sure.
We see the bolt. Which means we see 1 damage taken. You can dig with the bolts, but you gotta kind of watch out when you get low enough. At the moment, something like Cataclysm Pass into double ignition gives lethal.
Yeah.
And so keeping an eye on this life total now. is going to be something that we'll have to see happen.
That is
And we see the
incredible.
Cataclysm.
Well played coming out from Rainzone.
And yes, they do play sleeves that match the theme of the deck. The way gentlemen do it.
All right, and we are going to have our final matchup of the night, Rainzone versus Endo. Shortly, we are going to go back and go over some other interesting stats that we have prepared for this. Starting with the most popular rares. Noah, tell us, about these. Obviously, some of these numbers are very important as they're making their way in to the finals. Tell us what your opinion on all of these are.
Well, we actually see, again, something that I want to point out. That last slot is actually like a 5-way tie. So we had the two definite most played in the 8s. The 10 and the 8, excuse me. But then we saw kind of a mishmash below that of about 5 things. I don't have the list on me at the moment, although I should have. But we definitely see that the, one moment, I apologize. Okay, so we definitely see that the Magma is making himself known. The big cow is hitting the field. We've seen it a few times now that it's come down and swept away multiple minions. And that's been big. We've seen quite a few kills coming and life being gained. We've had a couple field wipes, although I don't know that... Did we see the yellow deck today? We saw the mono yellow one in match 1, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Okay, so we have seen many a field wiped, and we have 2 field wiping effects shown now. So it's neat to see that kind of the theme of the night with these sweeping effects is also shown now as we see multiple sweeping effects. And I think we also see that in the Mythics as well, if I'm not mistaken.
That we do have the Mythics as well pulled up.
And again, with these Mythics, we'll see kind of, again, the most played one being something that has a sweeping damage effect, and that's come up quite a few times now. Beyond that, we have a 2-way tie with the most played Mythic. And I don't know if we have any of those left in this finals match. Let me double check that and see if anyone playing these last 2 Mythics, Tony, who just lost in the semifinals, had one of them, and Toon had one. Let's see, who else has them? Pope, who was not shown today, and Shaddix, who was not shown today. So the only one of the most played Mythics we'll be seeing in this final matchup is the Magnus.
And, with all of this, this Mythgard Community Weekly, I do want to give a special shout out to our sponsor, even though it is misspelled sponsor down there, inkedgaming.com, the one-stop shop for everything you can need, from board games to playmats to sleeves. If you are a tabletop gamer, a trading card game player, or hell, even if you want to use a playmat as, a mouse pad, definitely go check them out. They have everything available, shipped to multiple different locations. And on top of that, they are also sponsoring this. And this week's prize is going to include a $10 Inked Gaming gift card for first place. Next week's prizes are also increased. Next week's prizes are going to be a $20 Inked Gaming gift card, 8 packs, along with packs all the way up, down, rather, top 8. Let's go ahead and get finals started. Finals may begin. I'm going to go ahead and wait for our 2 finalists, Endo, Rainzone, to go ahead, challenge, and start their games.
It looks like Endo's saying they will need just a minute, so we've got a minute to talk with the chat. We don't have to have a delay on today, so we actually get a decent bit of feedback getting to speak with you guys. What did you like and dislike today? What do you feel we could do to up the quality of this as we go on? You can shoot both of us a message, and we will gladly take any feedback you have. This is something we plan to continue doing, and we hope to build upon the foundation we've laid out today.
Yes. Yes, obviously getting sponsored, spelled correctly. Let me get on that caster desk. Well, you know, actually, you can definitely message me about that laser. Because Noah is looking to reign supreme next week at the official first weekly. You know, not the test run that we're doing, the small 8-man that we're doing today. So we will have a spot laser. So definitely, you know, slide in my DMs if you are interested. I disliked the mismatched card backs. Well, you know, I can't really tell them anything about that. That's kind of where we're going. All right, Endo and Rainzone are currently playing. Endo is going first. Let's go ahead and jump into it.
Speaking of sleeves a minute ago, I like EndoZoa's sleeves a lot, actually. Just a side note.
Oh. I actually love pretty much both of these sleeves. I think these are fantastic.
And we see the game begin with a pass. Howling Abyssal goes back to the deck, and a pass again. So nobody playing anything on 1.
I'm interested to see how this matchup turns out.
Yeah, I am excited to see how this plays out. We have... Okay, so the Fang comes down, and like I was talking about in match 1, it's now sitting 1 to the left of the middle lane. Instead of playing in that middle lane, I don't know. I myself like to play 1 to the side, and we see Endo doing the same.
Yeah. I tend to lean to the right on my personal field. Burning the Ice Spike, playing the Muse.
Yeah, Calliope Muse coming down to block the 2/2 out is nice. The Divination is just added value. We should go ahead and update to let people know this is the finals. If we could get that image updated. And we see the bolt onto the Calliope Muse, which means we'll most likely see the 2/2 swing into it to follow up. Oh, we'll see the ignition and the 2 damage going to the face instead.
So I got a quick hover for everyone, since we cannot use the overlay. Firesong Prodigy, add an ignition spell to your hand. Stray, lose 2 life, gain 6 life when it is destroyed. Thane fully heals whenever an enemy minion dies.
So Thane gonna go ahead and kill off the O2 now and let the 6 life be gained. We did see at one point tonight a hesitation to do that. I don't believe it was by Endo. But we did see a hesitation to kill the O2 and let the life gain happen. And we talked then about the fact that we both felt it was best to do all of the life gain at the beginning of the game when you have the highest life total, as it tends to be the least impactful then. So we do see Endo going ahead and taking out that life gain now and letting it hit. We see the double ice spike. Wow.
Coming down, allowing the Prodigy to swing in uncontested.
And we see a bolt. Will we see the second bolt to follow?
Bolt with the
we don't
fragile
need to,
one added, due to the season change. Feast coming down. Draw 3, lose 3. It's probably better to get that out of the way now while Stretcher is not on the board.
And now the stunning begins.
Yep.
This has been quite impactful today. This was the only copy played in all 8 lists. And I want to see next week if we see folks in blue begin to play it, now that we've seen it make an impact all the way up into the finals of this event today.
Yeah. Well, obviously there's some really early speculation on decks. This, Stretcher is one of the decks that is available already on, MythDB site.
Speaking
for the
of
fans,
which,
by the fans. All of these lists,
the semifinals lists.
Yep.
All of the semifinal and up lists to today's event will be available on MythDB. I do not know when, but it should be within the next day. You can actually find them on mythdb.eu.
Rainzone actually, is the spearhead of MythDB. It is fairly late where Rainzone is right now, so I wouldn't be surprised if this would be within the next 12 hours. Rainzone decided that despite the time difference, they would be in this event, and it's
sticking it out like a champ.
Yeah, it's worked out for them very, very well.
Yeah, it's middle of the night, so
it's way past the middle of the night.
Yeah, it is. It's coming
like
up on
4.
middle of the next day. It's getting late.
Seeing 2 6/8s on the field, incredible.
Yeah, that's a lot of stats.
Winter on their side of the board. Enforcer coming down.
Man.
Clearing. Magmatar burn.
This is the point, if I was Endo, my head would be in my hands. Like, you've got to be kidding me. That is big, though. Maybe I wouldn't have my head in my hands if I was Endo. I'd be paying attention to the game and knowing that I could wipe my opponent's field.
Yes, and that is one of the joys of not being able to see our players' hands. You never know what's going to happen. Always super exciting. No premeditated plays, anything like that. Bolt from the blue.
Gonna deal 2 damage.
Healing, restoring 3, drawing a card. Second bolt.
Deals 2 again.
Are we going to see an ice spike?
We'll see a smite. Do we see the ice spike?
No, we do not see the ice spike. Although I do feel like we're going to see some early stabilization.
How do you feel about that, as opposed to bolting the Duskwing Angel twice and killing it? Just choosing to weaken the 6/8 instead.
I feel like that's fine. The 6/8, could obviously live through Cataclysm. So even if you did manage to kill the 4/4, I feel like if there is a Cataclysm in Rainzone's hand, it was more effective to use. There it is.
And we see it too.
Yep. That would have been that. In that situation, yes. If I didn't have the Cataclysm, I probably would have just bolted the 4/4, stopped any sort of life gain. Once we get a Stretcher out, this may be a little bit more difficult for EndoZoa to to win this, but we will see.
Do you see the Calliope Muse come down? Endo not done putting out these big 6/8s and just hoping this time it might finally stay on the field.
Yeah.
We see a Howling Abyss will come down unstunned. Looking to push that damage and see if we can get this game locked up.
Uh-huh. Forcing the movement, or forcing, actually, there is no movement to force. Forcing a block that has to happen, or else, you know, EndoZoa is in a very bad way.
Yeah, the stun will keep the 6/8 in place. So now Endo will have to play a unit to one of those lanes as opposed to just moving the minion.
Rainzone hitting the well played.
Feeling confident at this point.
Knowing
justifiably
that,
so.
Yeah, I mean, at this point you know that you have Endo pretty much on the ropes. They Crimson Pact.
Oh, okay.
Still taking the 4, but
Smite Ignition gives lethal. Now it does not. Good heads-up play. How do you feel about that line?
Very, very good. I mean, depending on what Endo has in hand, it needed to happen. Bolt only deals 1. It is not Winter. Muse coming down over there, unstunned.
Yeah, we still see that push to get the damage down. Because Endo is still only at 10. And Smite taking away damage on that helps quite a bit.
Wheel coming down, suppressing the enchantments in the 3 lanes. This 6/8 is warded and is an absolute big boy iceberg minion.
Yeah, this is
Long
this
Winter
is, a solid
is shut
spot.
down. Yep.
And this has been quite a good game 1. We've seen
For sure.
a lot of we've seen heads-up plays out of both people.
Yeah.
And I still don't quite know that I feel who's going to win this. This is still
Stretcher
anyone's
coming
game
down.
at this point. That will help. The life gain coming in off of the path.
Oh. I
How do
don't
you feel
think
about this? Let's see what the follow-up is.
Ice
Oh,
Spike.
the Ice Spike?
Based off the
Smite to
oops,
the
I
face.
don't feel like that was what we were intending to do if we were EndoZoa. But
making the best of a bad situation, going ahead and using the Ice Spike.
yeah, I mean, I guess Chad is correct. I guess the moving over would make sense to eliminate any sort of stun. Extract life. Very, very good for Rainzone. Bringing Endo to 6. Just got to hammer away here. Hopefully not get... Hopefully he doesn't draw too many cards or... Well, actually, yeah, that's interesting. The Long Winter is suppressed.
Yes.
The Cataclysm for lethal.
Going to deal the lethal.
Oh, man. I think the best part about that is not knowing if it was a top deck or knowing if it was a never didn't have it.
And Endo indeed telling us in chat that was a misclick. They did not mean to move off of the enchanted lane.
Quality misclick. But it is okay.
It is now 1-0 in this finals matchup.
It is now 1-0 this final matchup. Rainzone leading with Stretcher. They have entered game 2. And let's jump in. All right. Rainzone going first. Iron Flesh Performer coming down. You're healing.
So we see the heal. And at this point, this is less about the heal than it is just
About the
digging.
card advantage, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you want to find something. I wouldn't quite call it advantage because it doesn't actually give you any advantage. It just makes itself into something else.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely makes sense. Ignition. Iron Flesh Performer.
So unlike Bolt, Ignition will be able to kill one of these 2/1s.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it will. The Muse coming down.
See the Calliope Muse.
Divination 3.
And we see the Ignition go ahead and kill off a minion. Pass to EndoZoa. We do see the attack come in. 2 damage is dealt.
Bolt. Dealing
Yep.
the lethal due to winter. Burning the other ice spike that they were holding.
Smiting the face. We'll see the pass. EndoZoa now. Ooh, the feast. That's a good feast.
Yeah, feast.
EndoZoa
very
is now
good there.
stocked his hand back up. And has the damage to, yeah, go ahead and smite with the mana you have left. And EndoZoa looking to just stay in the game tempo-wise with that feast.
Long winter
And now we
coming
see the
down.
stuns begin yet again. Smite to face. Oh, the second feast.
Prepare
This
to
is what
die.
This is what I like so much about this deck. And we see it with both of them now, with a feast coming down yet again.
Muse coming down
Is-
unstunned.
Both of these guys will be seeing so much of the deck. We'll get to see a lot of decision making in the lines they take because they've been able to keep these hands fueled up so much.
Yeah, for sure.
We see the Calliope Muse fall, smite to the face again. We've seen a lot of smite damage this game.
Yeah, it's been pretty insane.
I'm gonna go ahead and heal again. Gonna eat up one of those smites and smite back.
We have Stretcher active. The suppression coming down. The wheel. Fine, minion gets warded. The 6/6 getting warded.
This is... Oh, well, it's back in the hand yet again. See the bolt come down. One life sapped out of EndoZoa yet again. Attack made. Most likely see Smite and the pass. Howling Abyssal coming down unstunned, and an Ice Spike to go ahead and kill a minion. We see the 2 damage to face with Smite, and then the 1 damage taken yet again. EndoZoa, not in the best of positions, but not bad yet by any means.
No. Still in a very good position right now.
Yeah, this is still quite the even game. So Endo's going to have to take the damage by killing the Howling Abyssal, but pushes in the 6, and the Smite goes to the face again. What do you think we'll likely see on this next play? Outside of the Smite to face that has been the theme of this game. We see the
Cataclysm.
Smite.
Stretcher for lethal.
That is the match. EndoZoa losing 0-2 in the finals. But a well-played game. A good match.
A great game. We see one of the favorites for this entire event, Rainzone, winning the first community weekly tournament with Stretcher. I mean, I'm personally, not to sound biased, I'm not shocked. Rainzone is a staple member of this community. You know, running MythDB, and even though it is late for Rainzone, they stretched out their time, if you will, and definitely managed to win this event. All right. So, now that the event is actually over, now that we have our winner in the finals. Ready? We didn't like that one?
I enjoyed that one.
That was a good joke.
Yeah, it was solid.
Now we actually get to chat with chat about this event while I throw up the link to the next event.
Which will be in 1 week. It will be on the 16th. Unless you live in a place that my 16th is the 17th to you, in which case it's the 17th. It is exactly 1 week.
There is
these 2 events.
There is 16 spots up for grabs for this next weekly.
I believe it will be 15 spots. I thought that by winning today,
Rainzone
get a spot. Yes,
does get the easy confirmation in. We have already, Rainzone has already confirmed their spot for next week, staying up late enough, winning even more prizes. Rainzone has won 3 packs in game and a $10 in-game gift card. Second place, EndoZoa, Team Rankstar's own, has won 2 packs. And Tony, they played for third, has won a pack themselves. Thank you, everybody, for participating in this first event. Where do we go from here, Noah? What do we want to do some feedback? Do a post-tournament summary of what you saw. Well, Noah, Mr. Stats Man.
As much as I would love to do that, this has actually cut into most of the time I had allotted tonight, sadly. So
No
it
worries.
has been a fun event, but I will need to go ahead and leaving. So if you want to do that, by all means do.
Definitely can.
But the stats guy is dipping. I have had fun. I hope you guys had fun, and we hope to see you back again next week. Thank you.
No worries. No worries, Rainzone. I'll watch the rest of the stream tomorrow. Thanks for the stream in the tournament. Thank you, Rainzone, for everything you do in this community, and thank you for participating in this first event. So right away, thoughts that I had on this. I was not shocked about the amount of blue that we saw. Not really shocked about any of the decks. Kind of disappointed that my favorite Slide was not represented. Hopefully it gets a little bit of love next week. I feel that deck is fantastic. But, I mean, playing 3 games of that could easily total about 30 to 40 minutes. Blue, red, and ranked incoming. I mean, this could be a thing. This is where the development of the current meta is going to happen from. Obviously, there's a bunch of decks from people that have been playing since the game's first release in alpha. But we are going to see some unique tournament meta. We do have a actual tournament structure that we're working on as far as best of 3, what is going to be included in that. The game is not going to support sideboarding, so this tournament system is not going to support sideboarding as well. We do have that working. We're working on that. That's probably another 3 to 4 weeks out just because we want to make sure everything's tested good to add for, you know, a little bit more flavor. Give people enough time to build up their collections, even though we do have a wipe incoming. But we want to make sure that people get to test enough. Sponsor thread. Yes, we know that was misspelled, but isn't the wipe mid-year? The wipe is probably, yeah, it's mid-year is what we're hearing. Green is probably Scourge of the Ladder. That's like 3 to 4 months out. We will be rolling this tournament, the final structure of what we think is going to be happening, which it still could always change, right? Until we approach, what I would say is beta, until we approach that. But we want to give it a little bit more time. We want to make sure that we're making the right choices. Wipe has no real date yet. That is correct. That is correct. So let's see here. I mean, we already went over the most popular cards for this week. And I think one that did a whole lot was Magnus. I think Magnus did a whole lot in pretty much every game that he was played in. Always eliminated some important minions. And sad we didn't really get to see the other two. But big question whether we get purple before or after the wipe. After. Yeah, and just the fact that it's a 4/4 body is just as good as the effect. So let's see. We have thrown up the link for that. We already have 6 people in next week's Community Weekly. I'm going to be going over all of that as well. We do have some expanded prize pools there. We will be doing a top 8. Which is going to be kind of interesting since it's 16 people. That means some 2/2s. So even if you don't think your deck's your collection's gonna be big enough to play in, I would still say play it. 2/2s being able to score a pack each is fantastic. So first is going to be 8 packs. $20 in-gaming gift card for first as well. Second is going to be 5 packs. Third is going to be 3 packs. 4th through 8th is going to be 1 pack each. To hopefully, help build the collection before wipe, that is. I just dream of a 2v2 tournament. Me too. That is what we are waiting for. Because I'm gonna run those for sure. 2v2 is my favorite format. Feedback Messiah. Might be good if I started in the early afternoon or late morning, as a lot of people have evenings. Yeah, you know, we're trying to account for that. That's something that we're definitely working on. Yeah. Yeah, we want to make sure that people you know, not only in the United States are able to play in this. Obviously for Rainzone, it would be it still was late no matter what we did. But yeah, Australia, New Zealand, that is a group I thought about for sure, and we definitely wanted that to be accessible, as there are some notable Australian and New Zealand players that were interested. It's unfortunately, unless I did, you know, 2 split tournaments, there's no real way to match everybody's timing for that. So we are going to be working on that. We're going to be hammering it out. This is not just a one-off thing. This is something that we want to grow. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we're always open to feedback. Any feedback that you lovely folks have in chat, feel free to send it to us. We want to make this as great. Obviously, we're going to work on getting that sponsored spelled correctly. But what do you guys think? Do you guys like seeing the stats on that? You know, the most popular mythics, most popular rares. Did you guys enjoy that stuff? Did you guys enjoy having everybody's deck lists up on screen? Fantastic. Good. Yeah, Noah worked very, very hard on all of these graphics, making sure that everything looked good. Neither of us checked the spelling, but that's okay. 4 a.m. is just evening during Saturdays. Now about forcing people to use matching card backs. I cannot make that choice for people. Is custom card backs for winners. I would rule that out for a community tournament, but you could always drop that in the Mythgard Discord suggestions for when they decide to do in-game tournaments. Till then, we're working on what we can work on. Would you prefer open hands with delay? Ooh. Is that a Rhino dev? I'm assuming so. Coming in here. My 2 cents on the open hands. I wouldn't. I would rather there be no delay. I'd rather it be more impactful. It does definitely make things more exciting. While the knowledge and all that is especially from a commentary standpoint, I don't feel like open hands really does anything. I mean, then you have to have a delay. Nobody likes delay. Nobody likes having delay on. You know what I mean, chat? Delay is not fun in my opinion. I ran one event once while I was streaming, and having delay on just kind of killed the mood for me. I like being able to interact with chat while we are obviously paying attention to the game, but you know, it's yeah, definitely in tournament mode. If we're doing like a big tournament, then probably have open hands, but for the smaller stuff, I don't think you really need it. Yeah, with a bit of a delay for sure. multiple times a month. Laser is the Pog champ of casters. Hopefully Laser will be joining me next week on commentary as well. We delay the spectate on our end. Yeah. I mean, even like a tiny delay isn't the problem, right? I don't mind any of that. Even if we were to stream it with like a 30 to 45 second delay, I just can't stand the 5 to 6 minute delays. I just, personally, I don't like it. But if people want to see open hands, completely open to it. Definitely makes sense why people would have it. So what else? What else did you guys like about this? What else do you guys want to see us do? It sucks not being able to have the overlay on for sure. I do agree with what Doretti said. Yeah. Caster face cams. But I like having my lights off. I'm blinded by the light 6 days a week already. I will be streaming again. We were supposed to have a food delivery like an hour ago, to be honest. Like right before I went live 2 hours ago, me and the girlfriend were about to have food delivered. And it just never happened. So I'm not really sure what happened with that, but I do need to eat. And then I will be live doing Mythgard. I'm going to try to do some 2v2s, do all that stuff, but I do have some stuff to finish up with the tournament and eating really fast, and then you guys can see my lovely face, for sure. Stop curling? Mythic. Tell me more. Just had fun. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Hey, all feedback's good feedback. Even I just had fun is good feedback. Curling? That's fantastic. Face cams. I mean, where? The UI is, there's so many different things. This UI is so compact already. I don't even know where we'd go. I could probably go over the little end turn buttons. Golf equal. All right. Might pop in later. Peace. Take it easy, Doretti. You have a good night. Well, folks, make sure you guys sign up for the next tournament. 16 spots, tons of prizes. Prizes pay out to the top 8. Free to enter. Community Weekly. Make sure you guys join the Mythgard Discord. I mean, that's pretty it's pretty fair. You know, that's where we're going to be building the community. And then if you ever want to chat with me and Noah outside of that, you could always join my Discord as well. Noah is top mod there. I'll see if I can catch a 2v2 game or two then and go to sleep. You play golf with curling stones. Oh, jeez. That doesn't sound fun. Yes, definitely stop by and see if you can catch some 2v2. I'm going to be playing slide and probably just punting the entire night. But it should be fun. You know what I mean? It should still be fun. But yeah, thank you guys so much for stopping in. I really appreciate that. I'm really excited to do this for you guys every week, every Saturday, my time. Like I said, times are still up for adjustment. We might try to run some at some different times and keep data on the interaction and blah and all that stuff. But yep, we'll work on duo queue soon. Partner, y'all just let me know. The second that goes live, there's gonna be some real big 2v2 events Oh my god, 2v2 is so much fun. Entirely different meta. That's great. Thank you, Rhino devs, for hanging out in here. Duo tournaments, let's fucking. Exactly, laser. Well, once again, I do want to congratulate Rainzone on their victory, their win of the Alpha Test Tournament. I will see you all in, what is it? It's 9 my time right now. I'll tell you what, I'll be back in about 57 minutes, in roughly an hour. And I'll be streaming some more Mythgard, doing some 2v2s, doing some ranked with Earthslide. Just kind of hanging out, spending my Saturday night with you guys. And going from there. If you guys have any feedback at all, please DM it to me. Please DM it to Noah. We want to make this as great of a community tournament experience for you guys. All right? We want to make this poppin'. So I will see you all then. Who is live right now that we can go hang out with? Let us see. Who is live right now? There we go. We will host Team Rank Stars' very own Mythgard's top punter, Elois, until we return. I look forward to seeing you guys later tonight, streaming more Mythgard. Talk to you soon.